and winter is coming.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
For the watch.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I like it or I'm creeped out. Like, see, I like Tormund and I like Brienne, but just together, I don't know. It's creepy,
Especially just because of the weird looks he just keeps giving her.
but I want it. I want it, but I don't want it. I'm very like this is the most conflicted I've ever been about circumstance in my entire life. I've never been more conflicted ever.
It's a pretty major thing.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm not for it, but
Yeah.
we'll have to sell this another time. Anyway, welcome to Westeros After Hours. We are reviewing season 6, episode 5, The Door. I am joined by Bob.
Yes, hello.
And I am Sean. I'm like the somewhat host, I guess. I guess we're establishing that right now.
Yes.
Anyway, so we are going to review the episode. We're going to go through it. There's a bunch of plots. There's a bunch of plots we didn't see. We're just going to go through it. There's a lot we haven't talked about, so why waste any time? Why not just jump right in? Where are we going to start, Bob? Do you know where we're going to start?
Probably.
Don't worry, Bob. I'll answer that for you. We're going to start with Arya Stark in Bravos. So Arya was not in the last episode.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Not complaining. I love my Arya, but the plot's a little dry for me. But we kind of see her being put to the test again. We see her kind of getting like physically beat up, which I'm like, all right, we're doing this again, whatever. And we get past that, and she's given her second test to kill someone. In this, it happens to be an actor in a play. So this play scene, actually occurred in the books. It's already occurred in the books. I changed a couple things, but it did occur in the books. What did you? I want to know. What did you think of this play scene?
It was interesting to see Arya's facial expressions while she was watching the whole thing go down, because she was entertained at first when it was just the stuff with Robert Baratheon, but then when Ned Stark got brought into it, she was just, her demeanor changed entirely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go back to season 4 really quick. Actually, the wedding. You remember that little like mini play they had at Joffrey's wedding? That was, I loved that. Even like Peter Dinklage, the actor who plays Tyrion Lannister, in an interview said that scene made him uncomfortable shooting it, which was the point of it. You know what I mean? It really made it made Sansa pissed because the Red Wedding literally just happened, and it made not Joffrey, Tyrion pissed because kind of mocking him with other Exactly. So that was I loved that scene in season 4. I can't say the same about this one to a degree. Like, I know the humor was supposed to be kind of like silly and obnoxious, but what really made me be like was like the fart part.
Yeah.
Did that for you too?
That was interesting. I didn't.
There was a part when Robert Baratheon fell on the ground. They made like a bunch of fart sound effects. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess that was kind of
too much.
The whole thing that the play was trying to do.
I know, but it was too much. Like, that just feels like, I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was. I did enjoy what I did enjoy about that play was I did enjoy how how like the common people see like how the circumstance turned out. Like, there was no Littlefinger because they don't know Littlefinger. It was like Tyrion was there, but he really wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool seeing like how the people viewed it, how the common people viewed it. They viewed Ned Stark not as doing justice, but as someone who just wanted to take the throne, and as someone who they thought he was pretty stupid. Like, this guy's an idiot. It was very interesting. So I liked that part. I liked how the common people. It was interesting to see how the common people, and especially in Bravos, far away from King's Landing, viewed the events of season 1. But besides that, I think it went on for a little too long. I think the scene went on.
Yeah, the play itself went on for a little too long.
I think it could have been like a minute shorter. Yeah, honestly, it was a little too long. But I don't know. It just felt a little like awkward, and I just like I don't know. I wanted to get past it, but we did get past it. We see Arya. She is
backstage.
She is her target is the actress who played Cersei Lannister, who is established as a very good actress, and we find out when she goes back to Jacques. Oh my God, what's his name?
Jaqen Hagar.
Jaqen. I couldn't think of his name for a second.
His name is not actually Jaqen, but we're just gonna refer to him as Jaqen.
Well, that's how he's referred to. I mean, that's what the people call him. Whatever, Jaqen Hagar, whatever. She goes back to him, and he kind of like reveals to her that the actress who plays Sansa, who was kind of like a shitty actress, they established, wants her dead.
Okay.
That's who, and she's kind of like, huh, you know, the actress who plays Cersei is kind of nice. And he goes, you're not supposed to give a fuck about that. Like, are you serving us? And that kind of shows her, like, breaking. Like, she's not no one.
Yeah.
Like, this just proves it even further. She is not nobody. She's, like, debating, like, well, no, she seems cool. And he's like, death is for everyone. Like, death is not, like, death... I mean, this is Game of Thrones. Like, death kills, like, the nicest of all people, not the fucking cruelest. Anyway.
Oh, it does kill the cruelest sometimes, season 4, episode 2.
Yes. And also, in this Arya Stark scene, we also... Jaqen goes over about the origins of the Faceless Men a little bit. He just says how they started off as like slaves, basically.
Yeah.
And this one guy who learned how to use faces basically started this by uniting a bunch of different cultures into one.
Okay.
That's about it. He goes into a little more depth. I'm sure there's stuff hidden underneath there.
He mentions how that there's never been a highborn faceless.
Exactly. He did mention that. Yes. So I mean. It was pretty cool. It was. I thought the scene him explain that was. I'm sure there's details in this, but overall, I think this Arya Stark. Listen, I love my Arya Stark. I started off with this for a reason because I think this is the weakest part of the episode, if you ask me.
Although it's kind of taken an upturn from her recent plot.
Sure. Sure.
It was kind of weak, especially near the beginning of the season with her just being
I did like her in her last appearance in episode 3.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like was she got her sight back. I did like that scene where like it was showing her training, showing her like you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like facing the challenge of being no one, but then they just brought her sight back. It's like that ruined it for me. But like this, like I just felt like I don't know. I
found it kind of interesting that she had worked her way up to being able to defeat the other girl.
Yeah.
While she was blind. And then once she got her sight back, she was not able to defeat her anymore.
I didn't get that. Did you understand that?
I guess it's kind of like how it's been said in like other works of fiction how like you have to feel it and don't let your eyes deceive you.
You're right.
So, I don't know. That was kind of odd to me.
It was a little bit, but regardless, I feel like she, like when she was blind, she was a little more like, I'll do anything. Now she gets her sight back. She's kind of like, well, you know what I mean? So it's like,
I did what I needed to do to get my sight back.
Yeah, but we'll see. I do see where this is going.
Yeah.
I do see where the Arya Stark plot is going. I know where it's going to go. I know it's going to end up with Jon Snow. I just know it is. And I'm very excited for when that happens. So in the future, I see good things. But right now...
Well, we got to work up to those good things.
I know.
We can't have the good things right off the bat.
But working up to the good things, the work up there can be better than the thing itself.
That's true.
But I don't know. I think this was the weakest plot. I wasn't like, oh, because whenever I see Arya, I'm usually like, yes. But here I'm just like, okay, like, whatever. Arya Stark and Bravos, like, I honestly can't wait till she gets out of here. Cause,
it's all right, though. We're on our way up now. Yes. We're on our way up with Arya, so.
I suppose we are.
Now, while that goes up, let's move forward to...
let's move forward to, I think this is probably the shortest scene. It definitely is in what we're going to talk about. So we're not going to go on here too long, even shorter than Arya. It's Dany and Jorah. So we get a nice little scene where Dany's like, after what happened last episode, Dany's like, all right, like, I banished you, like, get out of here. And he basically was like, oh, yeah, by the way, I have grayscale, I'm going to die. And she's like, oh, now I'm going to be nice to you because I realize that you're mortal and going to die soon, probably. So basically, there's a little emotional scene. I didn't really feel the emotion in this scene. I don't know. Like she was like she had like the teary eyes, and I just didn't really feel it. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was.
Well, it was. She has been. You've seen through like when Jorah has been banished. Whenever Daenerys has seen him, she's been like reserved, trying to send him away.
Right.
But she knows that she has to because of it would make her essentially look bad if she were to just take him back.
But then once he reveals the grayscale, she's like,
yeah.
So she basically.
Well, she was gonna take him back in beforehand because he had just kept coming back.
Well, that's true. And then she said basically what she said to him is, "You go find a cure for your grayscale, and I will take you back."
Yeah.
Now, was she leaving Falstaff Rock?
Yes.
So she left Falstaff Rock.
Yes.
She's probably going back to Marine.
Probably.
Hopefully she doesn't. Hopefully she doesn't. I hope something gets in her way. But whatever. So basically, she's like, Dario, Jorah, you're hanging back here. Go to find a cure. 2 questions.
Yes.
Number 1, what did you think of the scene? Question number 2, do you think he's going to find the cure? Start with number 1.
All right. So number 1, the scene was pretty good. I understood Dany's emotions, like through everything that's happened. it was obviously very hard for Jorah to have to like force himself to back off and like realize that it was getting bad.
Yeah.
And then to answer number 2, I think he might.
You think he might?
But not after it spreads quite a bit more.
Yes. Yeah.
So we kind of have kind of a Shireen situation going on.
Maybe. I think he's past Shireen, though. Maybe he's not. I mean, but Shireen, they found it. No, he's had it longer than... has had it longer than Shireen. She only had it for a few days. They got it. But yeah, I'm
saying like kind of a Shireen situation
I know what you mean.
To a bigger extent.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
That's your prediction, yeah. I think that maybe, perhaps that... I think he's not going to find it, and that he's going to try, but he's going to go back to Daenerys. I don't know. I want him to live, and I want him to be there by her side
when she takes Westeros.
When she goes to Westeros, at least just go back to Westeros. I want to see Jorah back in Westeros, like his home. But I have my doubts. I think he's gonna die, and I just don't see him getting a cure. Now, do you think we're gonna focus on him at all? Because, like, do you think they're gonna like?
I think they're gonna kind of do what it's like when he got banished and not show him for a while. Because like when he got banished, they didn't show him until Tyrion showed up in Atlantis.
Yeah, well, it was like 3 episodes, but maybe it's possible that maybe like they'll check on him like for like a few minutes, like in a few episodes, just for a few minutes. Do that every few episodes, checking him for like a few minutes. But or they might just wait and maybe not even show him at all, and then have him like come back and like like I don't know.
If he is going to find a cure, I think that's how they're gonna do it. They're just not gonna show him again, and then all of a sudden he's gonna come back.
Yeah. Yeah,
so.
we will. I guess we'll see. But I think if he's gonna die, he's gonna need to die with Daenerys. Like, he can't just die without her. That would be very anticlimactic.
Yeah,
and boring. But overall, I guess I enjoyed this scene. I didn't think, for some reason, when Daenerys, I just didn't feel I didn't feel like the emotion she felt. But maybe that's just me. I don't know what it was. I think it might have been it might have actually been like the technical aspect of it. Like the acting might have been good.
Well, it was kind of like she had finally decided to take him back. Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, he has to leave." So she's just like, "Oh my god." I finally opened up and allowed you back.
No, I understand the emotion. I'm just talking how it was delivered. Yeah. I don't know if it was Emilia Clarke's fault that, for me, it didn't feel like it was delivered that well. I don't know if it was her or if it was like the editing. Something about it just didn't feel right. I don't know what it was, and I can't really describe it, but that's just me. But I thought the scene was better than the Arya scene, but it was all right. It was an all right scene. I'll give it all right. But I guess this is a spoiler alert. Not spoiler alert. Whatever. This whole thing's a spoiler alert. But I guess this is like a like I'm kind of gonna give my thoughts for the rest of the episode here, not on purpose. But I'm just gonna say from this point on, I liked every other plot. Okay. These two, I put these two for the first two because these are the two, especially the first one, I felt very iffy about, and just a little bit of the second one I felt a little about. But besides that, the rest of these plots were all good. So I just want to get the negative out of the way, and we can move forward. Okay. So we're gonna move on to Marine. So we get the scene in Marine where Tyrion's basically talking to Grey Worm, and Grey Worm's like, yeah, well, nothing's really happened. No violence has happened since we made the deal. And Tyrion's like, cool, great. Now we need to take the fact that there's peace and, like, get that narrative and create a narrative where Daenerys has created that peace. So the people will get behind Daenerys. Be like, oh, she made this, not... Yeah. You know what I mean?
Not these foreigners invading our land.
So, like, we need someone to go and tell everybody. And it's like, who are we going to trust? Well... In episode 1, and even last season, when Tyrion was traveling Essos, we saw a lot of red priests and red priestesses discussing it. Everyone's like, "Ooh, everything they say, yeah." So of course, Tyrion's like, "I'm gonna hire a red priest. We're gonna get a red priestess. She's gonna help us out." Mm-hmm. And her name is Kinvara. Kinvara.
I think it's Kinvara.
So we meet Kinvara. We saw her in the trailer. I was very excited to meet her. And we have a scene where Tyrion's like, talking to Kinvara's like, yeah, we're all for Daenerys and we're ready. And she's like, okay. And then Varys steps in. He's like, nah. And this is where
he goes into full Varys mode.
He goes into full Varys mode, and he's like, you said that Stannis, or not you, but your religion said Stannis Baratheon was the prince to be promised. He's not. You're wrong. But, you know, fanatics can never admit they're wrong.
The whole while Tyrion's trying to back him down.
Yeah, Tyrion's trying to like, all right, guys, like, can we just fucking, you know what I mean? And then she's kind of like, well, you know, humans make mistakes. It's not the gods' fault. And then she just goes full on attack. And she totally is like, yeah, like when your balls get chopped off and you heard that voice, that was on purpose. And you could see there was like a nice little sparring going on, which Varys
Varys' facial expressions when she was coming back in it was great.
Was like, he was just like, how the fuck does she know this? Like, am I wrong? Like, and it was, she basically just goes, tells him off and kind of leaves. That's like the best summary of the scene. There was a lot of exposition and a lot of stuff in there, which I enjoyed, but that's the best way to sum it up. What do you think of the scene, Bob?
It was I liked as much as I love Varys, I liked someone else who was talking to him in the way that he talks to other people.
Yeah. It felt like an old Varys versus Littlefinger, except she's even more ruthless than Littlefinger.
Yeah.
She was just, man,
definitely. And it was nice seeing Tyrion trying to be the peacemaker that he is and just trying to be like, oh, guys, I just want you to help. That's all I want.
Yeah. It was it was a cool dynamic between the three.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see if she's gonna have more of a role. Do you think she is?
I definitely think we're gonna see her a couple more times. I'm not sure how large her role is gonna be.
I hope that they don't just like, because in the trailer all they showed her was this part. Is she in, like, I hope that they don't like just throw her out the window. Like, I hope that
that they're not just like, oh, they went and told everyone.
Like, I hope that because I liked her character, and they did build up her character. I feel like they built up her character enough to kind of like bring her back, hopefully at least once. Is that it? Is that it for that scene?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, that pretty much summed up the whole thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I enjoyed a little sparring going on. I always enjoy that. That's just me. Good job, Bob, making noise on the mic.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Good job.
All right, my finger.
It's all right. It happens. All right, so we're done with half of the episode, really, half of the plots.
Yeah.
So those three are pretty quick to go through. These three are going to take a little longer.
Yeah.
We're going to have to dive in a little deeper. So we're going to move on right now to the Iron Islands. Mm-hmm. So we have the scene where the King's Moot's going on. Basically, like to pick who the new king is.
Yep.
Yara steps up, says, hey, I deserve to be the queen for blah, 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 blah. Legitimate reasons. Theon backs her up, and we see Euron Greyjoy come out. And he's like, hey, all right, I'm here. I need to be king. I killed Balon Greyjoy, and we're gonna. What we need to rebel. Our rebellions have always failed, so we're gonna join up with someone else who's rebelling, Daenerys Targaryen, which I called since episode 1. When I saw the ships burn in episode 1, I'm like, of course, the Greyjoys are gonna join up. Makes sense. They're both in open rebellion. Euron plans to marry Daenerys. That's gonna be tough. So everyone kind of like backs Euron. And he gets like baptized, basically reborn again under the Salt God, and becomes king. Goes to kill Yara and Theon, and they just ditch. They took all the ships and ditched. He's like, all right, we're gonna start from scratch. We're gonna start from scratch. Let's go. So let's just talk about Euron really quick.
Yeah.
I feel like he's 100% gonna team up with Daenerys. At least those Greyjoys are, but I feel like the Greyjoys are gonna split here.
Okay.
So the real question is, where's Theon and Yara going? I think he might go support the Starks, Jon Snow and Sansa.
Good.
I think that's where he's going to go. And I think that maybe Euron and his crew will join with Daenerys and Meereen. And once you have that, you have the kind of Greyjoy split. And I think this brings up an interesting... All right. Well, do you think it's going to happen? Do you see that?
I can't see Euron and Daenerys working together. I just cannot.
No, like, I don't mean, like, no, like, they're definitely going to join up. They're absolutely, I don't know, maybe they work together. Maybe he'll send his fleet there. I don't know. But I absolutely think that they're going to team up. Absolutely.
I don't
think they're going to get together, per se. But I just think that he's definitely in support. The Greyjoys, every single one of their rebellion has just failed. They need to fall back on someone. And Daenerys is the perfect one to fall back on. Yeah. And he's definitely going to do it, I feel. And... All right, and what do you think Theon and Yara are doing?
I think they are either going to help the Starks.
I think they are.
Or they may try to cut off Euron and go straight to Daenerys before.
That's possible.
Because he had made the whole proclamation about wanting to go to Daenerys while they were during the King's Moot.
That is possible. Yeah, that's possible. This also happened in the book as well, but except Theon wasn't there. I don't know if Yara left, but yeah, that's possible. That's possible.
I just the dynamics of Daenerys' group and Euron's group are just so
yeah, I know. This is what I think is going to happen. So I think that everybody. This is just credit someone. I was talking to my brother earlier. So this is my brother's predictions. One of my brother's predictions. He told me this and I bought it right away. So he thinks that, and I think this too. Everyone talks about Jon Snow and Daenerys getting together. He thinks, and now I think, it's going to be the exact opposite. They're going to go at war. I don't think they're really going to fit together. She's going to try to invade, and he's going to try to hold it. And then the Greyjoys would be split. Theon and Yara on his side, and Euron and the other Greyjoys on his side, and there'd be like a little rebellion, a little like civil war between the Greyjoys. I think that's going to happen. That'd be pretty cool. I want it to happen. I think that's where it's going. So I do think Euron is going to join with Daenerys. I don't think Daenerys is going to be like, I think she's not going to have his shit. But I think absolutely, Greyjoys they'll need her. And I think he's going to be have to follow her.
Yeah.
At least a little bit. I
just don't think he can accept that, though.
I think that he will. I think he'll be able to. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they're going to I think they're going to be fighting for the same cause, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be together. I don't think he's going to be like Jorah Mormont and always be by her side. I think they might meet up for a little sec, and she'll be like, all right, I'm going to go in the land, you do the sea. Bye-bye. And then he'll fight for her cause, but just elsewhere from her. You know what I mean? I think so. I do think so. And I think the same thing with Jon Snow and Theon and Yara, and eventually they'll meet up on the field. Yara, Theon, and Euron. That's why I see it going. Okay. And as soon as I was very shocked that once I heard Daenerys' name, I'm like, oh, they mentioned this already. I thought they were kind of leave it hidden. But yes, absolutely. I knew as soon as I saw the ships burning in episode 1 of this season, I'm like, in Marine, I'm like, yes, they're gonna team up. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just wondering which side it'll be. Which half of the Greyjoys will get to Daenerys first?
Or which ones will want to, yeah. I think it's going to be Euron. I don't think Theon... I think Theon really honestly wants to help the Starks out. I don't think we're going to see Theon and Yara for a while. I think they're going to kind of go missing for a while, and they're going to show up later.
Yeah.
Because I don't think... It'd be kind of weird if they went right back to the Starks right now, because literally they were just there, and it'd be a little weird.
Well, I mean, they did get Sansa directly to the wall.
I know, but it would just be weird, because episode 2, he's with the Starks. Episode 3 and 4 and 5, he's with... Not even episode 3. Episode 4 and 5, he's with the Greyjoys. Now he's back to the Starks. I think they're going to hold off a little bit on Theon and Yara. And I think we're going to see him either at the end of the season or maybe not even until next season. We're going to wait. I do think so. I think they're going to hold off a little bit on that. Okay. I'm not with Euron. They're definitely going to focus Euron on them. Yeah. The Greyjoys a lot. I just think Theon and Yara, they're kind of going to push on their way. And we'll see them in the future. Definitely not in the next few episodes, I feel.
Yeah. I'm just realizing, I'm wondering through my head, there were quite a few things that weren't in this episode, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Yes. So, any other comments for Theon?
No. Well, because the reason for Theon going home was because he didn't want to have to face Jon. So I don't know how that's going to work out.
Because he cares about home, too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, we're going to move on now to the Wall. So this is how we start off the episode. We start off with Sansa meeting up with Littlefinger.
Yes.
Now, I have some questions. Did they meet up in Molestown? Is that what I heard correctly?
I think I heard that as well.
All right, because it was a weird cut. It looked like they were inside at the wall for a second.
No, but I'm pretty sure they were in Molestown.
All right, so a few concerns I have, just really quick. First of all, did Jon just let Sansa leave? Go to Molestown? Isn't it a little weird after the Boltons are hunting after her to just let her go out? Molestown's it's right down the road, but it's still.
Yeah, well, I guess, I don't know, maybe he trusts Brienne.
Maybe, they're a little weird. That, whatever, I can look past that, but second of all, explain this to me. How the hell did Littlefinger get from the Eyrie to Molestown this quick? That's literally, like
my dad has made the same comment. Littlefinger seems to be the only person in the entire universe who can get from place to place in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know, he got from Winterfell to King's Landing, and yeah, I know. It takes, to get to Winterfell to the Wall, I believe they said it takes about a week. Or at least a half a week. I'd say half a week. Never mind from the Eyrie, which is south. Yeah. I'd say the Eyrie to Winterfell, Catelyn took, I would say it's a good, a good week too. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And, I get that the passage of time might be different. Maybe the Littlefinger stuff in the last episode happened before. But I think it would have been a smarter choice if they cleared Littlefinger, maybe in episode 3. And then here, you know what I mean? Instead of having him back to back from the Eyrie to, it just felt such a weird cut, and it felt like such a weird, how the hell did he get there so quick?
Yeah.
So I felt like maybe it would have been better, because Sansa hasn't been there long. Jon, I think they've only been there for a day.
Yeah, it's only been a couple of days. I think it's been a few days, but it's been
A few
not
days.
a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, what the hell? Like,
I don't know.
that was just a concern I have. Anyway, so we get this little scene. Sansa meets up with Littlefinger, and Sansa is not having it. Sansa is pissed. Sansa's like, you left me at Ramsay, and she kind of like tests him. It's like, tell me what you think he did to him, and he kind of like, beat you? Question mark. Like, I don't know what he did. Which come on, he knows what Ramsay did. Basically, she's like, yeah, he beat me and raped me. You left me there. Fuck you. I hate you. Get out of here. We don't want your help. I don't want the Erie's help. I don't want your help. And he's like, all right. Well, just kind of wanted to let you know in the Riverlands, Blackfish is doing his thing. Bye-bye. And he leaves. And it's interesting information. It comes up again in a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we get there, what did you think of this interaction? Did you enjoy this interaction?
It was tense.
I loved it.
It was tense.
I loved it. It was super tense. It was like little. I mean, I think this was like really the first scene that shows it. All right, so it starts off showing Sansa is no longer Littlefinger's puppet.
Yeah.
But she is, because we go right back to her being her puppet, with her playing the same game, obviously, which we're going to talk about right now. Davos, Jon, and Sansa, I think Brienne's there, some other peeps. The team, the squad, if you will, are meeting up and deciding how to get support to fight against Ramsay. They talk about how the Mormonts, other houses they can get, and Sansa casually brings up, oh, we can go with the Blackfish. Jon's like, how do you know that? And she's like, oh, I was at Ramsay and a letter came in and that's how I figured out. And she lied. Yeah. She lied to him because she doesn't trust him, which we reveal in the next scene where Brienne is like, so Sansa is, there's a lot here, I know. I'm trying to get through it as quick as we can. So Sansa tells Brienne, you're going to go to the Riverlands. And Brienne's like, I'm not leaving you here alone. You don't trust anyone here. I trust Jon. You don't trust Jon because you just lied to him. You just told him a little lie, so you're not going. I'm not letting you go. So, they all leave. And that's the extent of the scenes. So I think I know I jumped around a lot, but I think what I'm trying to say is, I think these scenes, Jon wasn't really involved too much. No. It was really just Sansa. Yeah. It was all about introducing Sansa to the Riverlands, where she is going. She's absolutely going to the Riverlands.
And Jon is going with her, apparently.
No, Jon's going to Winterfell.
Jon was going to Winterfell?
I think definitely Jon's going to take the north. She's going to the Riverlands. Because it cut off on her saying to Brienne, oh, I'm just going to send you. And Brienne's like, you don't trust him, you're coming with me. So they're both going to the Riverlands, obviously. It's going to happen. It just makes sense. They're going to split them up again. It just makes sense. She's definitely going to go to the Riverlands. I think he's going to take the north with Davos. I think she's going to go with Brienne and Podrick. Makes sense. And I mean, that makes sense. Jon's like, oh, you go to the Riverlands, get the hell away from the Boltons. Yeah. You know what I mean? Go to the Riverlands. Yep. You'll be somewhat safe there. Meet up with, the Blackfish. You'll be safe with the Blackfish. Yeah. So I'm very excited to see the Blackfish. I'm very excited to see the Riverlands. I mean, we have to see it soon because I know Jaime's going to be there, but I think it's going to be 1 or 2 episodes. It's going to speed things up with everyone. We're going to meet in the Riverlands. Yeah. I'm very excited to be back in the Riverlands. Yeah. And I think it's going to be cool to see Sansa there. So what did you think of these scenes? Or Winterfell, not Winterfell, the Wall.
The Wall as a whole.
Yeah, in this episode.
Alright, so the scene with Sansa and Littlefinger was just crazy ridiculous.
I loved it. Yeah, arguably one of my favorite scenes in the
episode. It was weird to see Littlefinger as kind of being talked down to for once. It was cool. Yeah. But then he played her at the end.
Absolutely played her. She was even like, oh, I have the support of Jon. He's like, your brother's army, and as he walks away, he says, half brother. And it's like, oof, he I think he acted like he was like oh, I'm so sorry, but he's not sorry. He's playing her so hard, but yeah, I enjoyed all of these scenes quite a bit. Yeah, it's cool to see Sansa kind of you know what I mean, not badass, but she's growing, even though she's
coming into her own.
But she's coming into her own, but at the same time she's not. She's still falling for Littlefinger. But whatever. Yeah. And also a quick little scene we see, a nice little scene to end it all off that we see is at the very end. We see Ed given
asked the question
he's given the role of Lord Commander. Yeah. He's basically they go up there and say, "Hey, Lord Commander, marshal the gates." He goes, "I'm not the Lord Commander." Wait, I am the Lord Commander.
Shut the gate.
Shut the gates. And the Night's Watch there's nobody there. Yeah, no. The Night's Watch is empty,
a bit depleted.
Which is why I'm making a prediction right now. Maybe this season or maybe somewhat soon. I think the White Walkers are going to come in there and just kill all of them.
Okay.
All of them. Absolutely. Right. And that's going to force Jon, once he gets Winterfell,
to go back
to
and
turn
forth.
around. But yeah, I just think they're going to destroy. Absolutely, they're going to destroy all of them. They just absolutely are. Like, I mean, like, I don't think they're going to show Castle Black for a while. And I think they're gonna show it again when it gets destroyed. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be like a Hard Home Part 2, honestly.
Okay.
And Night's Watch will probably be just
gone.
I mean, they got Castle Black. There are other castles too, but at least that Castle Black destroyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see where this is going. I like Jon Sons together. I think we both agree it was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the last plot, which we have a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot to talk about, and it is the Bran plot. So we have 3 different scenes with Bran. So we're going to divide this up in 3 different sections. We're going to kind of talk about the first one, and the second one, and the third one. Start off with the first. So we start off with Bran learning the origins of the White Walkers.
Yes.
He's in this like past, and he finds out the children created the White Walkers as a tool. And I got the illusion of like nuclear weapons almost, like
kind of
cool idea on paper, but in practice, not a good.
No.
So it can have serious side effects.
Yes.
And we see that with the whole plot. As they created a long time ago, a very long time ago, they created White Walkers to fight against humans.
Yes.
When they came over, the first men came over.
Yep.
To fight them, and so they kind of obviously that backfired, and they built the wall for the White Walkers. So eventually the children, they created the White Walkers, and then kind of like made a truce with the humans to fight the White Walkers. That's how bad it was. So that's a cool little scene. It was, I mean, that they didn't hold back at all. I just showed that immediately. It's like, I'm like that. I thought the origins were gonna wait a little longer. We still have a few questions. What was that she put in him? It looked like dragon glass.
I think it might have been the dragon glass.
But
I'm not sure.
They're made of dragon glass, why does dragon glass destroy them? There's a lot of questions, and I mean, this probably raised more questions than answered. But I thought the scene was really cool. Also, something we saw the pattern of stones around the tree.
Yeah.
We've seen this pattern before with the severed heads in the pilot episode, the very first scene, and we saw it with the horses.
Yeah.
So we see that symbol a lot. So what does that symbol mean? Is that symbol what summons White Walkers? But we know they can also summon White Walkers in different ways. There's so many different questions to this mythical phenomenon, as known as the White Walkers. I'm very interested to see how they explore that. But what did you think of this scene with showing the creation of the White Walkers?
I was wondering what it was at first, because like the way it was shown, like it was just I had no idea, inclination that it was going to go toward the White Walkers, and then all of a sudden the guy's eyes turned blue, and I'm like, oh,
that's how it happens. Yeah.
So that's how that happened.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to know exactly where they came from, and that they were men at some point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and to know that, I mean, they were created to stop men. Yeah. And that didn't work out.
Nope.
So yeah, I enjoyed the scene quite a bit. It was really cool. I loved it, and I thought it was interesting, and it definitely raised a lot of questions that I'm very excited to learn the answer of, like why do certain things defeat White Walkers? Why are some White Walkers different than others? It's really interesting. I'm really interested in it, and it's cool because they use the magic of the children, just like Bran does, just in a different way. Yeah. So that moves us on to another scene we see a little later with Bran. So Bran's hanging out in the cave. Everyone's just like either asleep, and the Three-Eyed Raven's kind of just like, you know what I mean, like warging. He's just chilling out. But he's not awake. Bran's like, I'm bored. I'm just gonna touch this tree branch right here. And he gets teleported into this weird. I guess it's present day. I don't know when it is. He gets teleported basically to an army of White Walkers. Yeah. And he meets the Night's King and a few other those special White Walkers. Yep. And the White Walker holds Bran, and Bran wakes up like, holy shit, and Three-Eyed Raven immediately says, did you get touched? As if he knew this would happen. Yeah. He's like, did you get touched? He's like, yes. He's like, okay. Yeah, you guys just need to go. Yeah. Like, just get out of here. And Bran's like, we need to go. And he's like, yeah, but first you need to become the Three-Eyed Raven. He's like, okay. So he touches it, and they go in the state so Bran can become the Three-Eyed Raven. Yeah. So so now Three-Eyed Raven realized what happened, and he's like doing like an upload, basically. He's trying to like upload all this information in Bran at once, instead of doing it in slow increments. Just says, we're just going to put a bunch of information in you so you can know what you know, become me, and save the day, basically. Mm-hmm. So what did you think of the scene with Bran and the White Walkers?
It was.
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was done very well.
It was great because he had walked through the whole army with just and nothing knew that he was there. Yeah. And then he got over to the special ones. Yeah. And they didn't notice him for a second, and then they just like all looked over to him.
Which is, I think, because they use the same magic he does, the magic of the children. Yeah. So that's how they can use that just like he did. And they looked at him, and then just the entire army is looking at him. Yeah, and that he was like, oh, and they touched him, and that really changed everything. At the end of the scene, the very end of the scene, he's like, well, Bran's like, don't worry, he touched you, it doesn't matter, they can't get in here anyway. And he's like, no, now that he touched you, he's marked, he can get in here. They can get in here. So that's why he told him to get out of here, you need to get out. All right. So the very last scene we have with this whole incident is Bran is at Winterfell watching Ned leave for the Eyrie. Yep. He's just home, hanging out like he usually does. And Mira's hanging out with Hodor. And they
getting everything packed up.
Yep, and she can see her breath. She can see Hodor's breath. She can see Bran's breath. And she's like, uh-oh. So she runs outside, and the army of White Walkers are here to take everybody down. And she's like, well, shit. So
the Children of the Forest are then just like, go, we got this.
Yeah, and they use a bunch of fireball magic to stop as many White Walkers as they can. The Night's King and all of them walk right through the fire. Mira goes to wake Bran up, and she's like, you need to wake up, you need to wake up, you need to wake up. We need to get out of here. He won't wake up. He can hear her voice. He's like, what? What do I need to do? So they get out of there. So they get her in a cart, get Bran in a cart, and they get out of there. Mira, Hodor, and Bran are running out of the cave. Meanwhile, the Night's King walks in. This is after, I think Mira kills a White Walker. A few other things happen, whatever. The Night's King comes in and kills the Three-Eyed Raven. In the vision, he disappears, and it's like this weird, like black,
kind of like raven-like thing. Yeah.
Thing. Really cool effect. I love that effect. And Bran's like, oh shit, like this is, uh-oh. So they're leaving, and meanwhile we see a few deaths of the children, and Summer dies.
Yes.
Man, they just don't want to have direwolves around anymore. Yeah. They just want to get rid of them all. They're just like, these direwolves. I can imagine like someone at HBO smoking like with like a cigarette in their hand, like, these direwolves, they gotta go. The ratings are dropping. Let's get rid of them all. So they're just getting rid of all the direwolves. The only two left. Nymeria and Ghost. And Ghost is missing. So really the only one still around is Ghost. And we haven't seen him recently. Like, did he leave? He must have left with Jon, because we didn't see him.
Yeah, Ghost is with Jon. There's no way Ghost is not with Jon.
Yeah, but it was just whatever. But Ghost is still my favorite, but whatever. Like, if they killed Ghost next episode, I wouldn't even be shocked, because they just kill it, like Shaggy Dog, Summer, like, it's killing all of them. Whatever. Past that rant, I'm a little upset Summer's dead. Very sad. Summer didn't do anything this season, which upsets me. But,
and you skipped over a little something before Summer died.
Go ahead.
It was, Mira was yelling at Bran while he was in there, like, you have to warg it to Hodor.
Oh, we are going to get to that.
Because she said that before.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So they are leaving. One of the children of the forest, the main one, sacrifices herself to save them, and they get to this big door. So she needs to open the door. Yeah. And they open the door, and they get outside, and the White Walkers are coming, and they need to close the door. So what she does is she says, "Warg into Hodor." I know she said this previously, but I'm just
because he had already warged.
I know, but I'm just trying to keep this series of events together instead of going like, oh, she went here, then there, then all over the place. We're trying to stay in the same place. Okay. So while Bran's inside, he has to warg in the Hodor in the current time to stop the door.
Yes.
So, I mean, he basically wargs in the Hodor, and that fucks up the Hodor that is with him.
Yes.
So Hodor falls on the ground. Or Willis, we should call him.
Willis, yeah.
Willis falls on the ground, and Mira's screaming, hold the door. So he says, hold the door, and everyone's like, what the hell's going on? Hold the door, hold the door, hold door, Hodor, Hodor. That's why he says Hodor. It means hold the door. A very sad scene. Hodor sacrifices himself to save Bran and Mira, and he dies. Man, okay. Let me just talk about the scene. I thought the scene was done geniusly. Yeah. Like, this was George R. R. Martin's writing. It was George R. R. Martin. George R. R. God damn it. George R. R. Martin. This was his writing. He says it's confirmed to happen in Winds of Winter. So any book fans are probably pissed if they watch the show.
Yeah.
Don't watch the show. You're gonna get spoiled for you. Sorry. I feel no sympathy for you. Sorry. So basically, I thought the scene was very well done. How Hodor became Hodor. His whole life purpose was to just hold the door.
Yeah.
I am going to be straight up. I cried during the scene. I straight up cried. This scene, I think this was the most emotional scene / death in the show. I'm going to go ahead and say since maybe the Red Wedding. And even that, this might have been the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
Like, emotional, maybe. It was about the same, I think. Like this was a real, like, what made it traumatizing was seeing actually Willis turn into Hodor.
Yeah.
It's like that was just, it was, and Bran just realized, like, that's all my fault.
Yeah.
This is all because of me. The Three-Eyed Raven obviously knew this would happen. He was just like, yeah, we're going to Hodor. I know it's going to happen, basically. But Bran just was like, this was all my fault. And I guess Mira to a degree, but whatever. This was their fault. This just normal boy, they turned into this to Hodor and forced him to, you know, his whole purpose in life was literally hold the door, which was a great plan.
I didn't cry at the scene, but my mouth was just open the whole time. I was just gaping. I was just like, wow.
It broke my heart. This scene literally broke my heart because Hodor is literally like the only character on the show who has like no ulterior motive. He is just pure Hodor.
Yeah.
And he is gone. Man, this is my saddest death of the season so far. I mean, there's not anything that even comes close. And just the oh man, I mean I can't. I don't even have words for the scene, man.
Yeah.
This hit me very hard. Very, very well done, though. I like how they did, like how they showed the origin story of Hodor.
Like going back and forth between what's going on.
Well, they show the origin story of Hodor, which happens to be with what's going on right now. It's very interesting, very interestingly done. I love like the fantasy elements of the scene, the very like mystical elements of the scene. Just every scene of this Bran episode. This episode with Bran, this is the best. This is the best. This was the plot I was most excited for this season, and it has definitely delivered so far.
Yeah.
Each moment with Bran has been spectacular, especially this one, despite it being in a terrible way. So yeah, I've been telling you what I think this whole time, but I want to know what were your thoughts on this scene?
It's weird. It's weird that like they had the whole interaction when Bran had first seen Willis as like Hodor's Willis before, and he was just like, Hodor, what happened? And it's weird to find out that what happened hadn't happened yet.
Yes.
So that was cool.
And it also is interesting the green site in general, like because he's really not going in the past.
Yeah.
He is going in the past, but it is the past.
Yeah.
Like him calling out Ned's name, him interacting with Willis. That like, that's real.
Yeah.
So like, maybe like that's not the past, that's the present almost. It's a weird thing. It's very interesting. I like the green site thing, and I like how him doing that. Like when that happened, Bran wasn't even born yet.
Yeah.
So obviously, so like that whole thing was like Bran doing it, but Bran not existing yet. So it's like he changes. Not that he changes the past. Like the Three-Eyed Raven said, the ink is dry. The past is already written.
Yeah.
Him going back there and doing what he's doing is the past.
Yeah.
Like he's not changing the past. That is the past. He's literally going to the past. And him going to the past is the past. It's very meta, and I like it. I really like the scene. Okay. So, pretty much, only two people that came out of there alive was Mira and Bran.
Yeah.
Now, my question for you, where are they going?
I have no idea. My dad had the same question. I was just like, where is Mira gonna take Bran?
Yeah.
Like, their whole thing was to be with the Three-Eyed Raven and learn everything.
Right.
And then go back down to, I guess, the wall, I suppose?
No, they're definitely not going down the wall. No, I think that maybe they'll find some more children. Maybe they'll find another weirwood. I don't know. I don't know where they're going. They can't go back now. I mean, Bran still has flashbacks to go to, still has stuff to learn. So yeah, they definitely have to connect to that somehow. I don't know where they're going. Maybe they're running to someone else.
Yeah.
I suppose we will find out. That's my biggest mystery is where they're going.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just to be honest, that Hodor scene broke my heart. I'm still upset by that.
Yep.
And just that, especially with Willis turning to Hodor, was traumatizing to watch almost.
Yeah.
So sad. So traumatizing and sad. All right.
That was bad.
Good job playing the trumpet. That was, believe it or not, that was an actual trumpet. Bob was literally just playing the actual trumpet. It is beautiful. You are really good at the trumpet. You did that, like, you just pull that trumpet in a second, put it back. You're amazing, Bob. You are amazing. Let's go to the plots we didn't see.
Yep.
We have 4 plots we didn't see, which is the most, I know, not the most, but a lot. So we didn't see any of King's Landing.
Okay.
Here's the reason why. King's Landing is going to be very important in the next episode.
Yep.
They need to get Jaime to the Riverlands. He has to deal with the whole Tyrell and High Sparrow situation. They're going to resolve that next episode.
Okay.
Absolutely. Or not resolve it, but something's going to happen. Marjorie is going to be a big part of the next episode, I feel. I feel like King's Landing, like how Bran's plot was the primary plot in this episode.
The King's Landing plot will be
King's
the
Landing
primary
plot will
plot in the next episode.
absolutely be the primary plot
agree.
in the next episode. We're going to see a lot of Cersei, Jaime. We're going to see some Tommen, some Marjorie, High Sparrow action. And Jaime is going to be in the Riverlands. We know he is. So after next episode, we only have 4 episodes left. One of which I really think is going to be the battle episode. So that's 3. I think they're going to have to get everything in the King's Landing moving to get Jaime do what he does and get to the Riverlands.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the King's Landing is going to go extremely quick. They're not even going to wait any time. So I think we will see that next episode. Thought it was fine. We didn't see it this episode. Honestly, I thought the amount of plots in this episode was perfect.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have too much.
Yep.
I wish every episode had this amount, because this felt we spent enough time everywhere to make the scene worth something.
Yeah.
So I thought the pacing in this episode was the best of any of the season so far. Very well paced.
They didn't cram in too much stuff.
Yeah, very, very well paced.
Yeah.
Another plot we didn't see. No shock was Dorne. No Dorne.
No Dorne.
Again, nothing
Not
new.
gonna see
Nothing
Dorne
new.
anytime soon.
Nothing new. I have to add. I think we will see them by the end of the season at least one more time.
Yeah.
Regardless, totally fine with
Yep.
that. We also didn't see any Sam and Gilly, which I think I can pass because of all the stuff that happened. But I think we need to see them at least once next episode. We haven't seen them since episode 3.
If we see them 2 episodes from now, it'll be okay.
No, I think because 2 episodes from now is episode 7.
Yeah.
No, it's episode 8. Like 2 episodes. And
Well, I mean, like the episode after next.
the episode after next episode. All right. I think we need to see him next episode. I think we honestly need to see him almost every episode after this, because they haven't been in this season at all. They were just absent.
Yeah.
And I'm so looking forward to Sam getting to the Citadel. I think we need to see him next episode. I think we are going to see him next episode. I'm making that prediction. But again, fine, that's not in this episode. I get it. I think it would have been taken away from the episode if they put him in here.
Yeah.
They're still traveling. I think episode 3, when they showed up, was just like a little check-in.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think it's about time we see them again.
Okay.
Next episode. And for the first time this season, like King's Landing, we also did not see Winterfell. Ramsay and Winterfell.
Yes.
Again, totally fine. No need to go back there.
No, he had just he has Rickon captive. He had just killed Asha.
Not a big deal. We don't need to go back there.
No.
So I think we might or might not see Ramsay next episode.
I think we will see Ramsay next episode.
I think they're gonna have a lot to focus on. They're gonna have to see Jon and Sansa. They're gonna have to move them to the Riverlands. I think we're gonna see a little bit of probably Bran at least. I think a little bit. Yeah, I think so. I think they have to go to him. They have to. They can't just leave that for an episode. They have to go back to at least for a little bit. At least like see his reaction to find out what really happened, because he doesn't know what happened.
Mm-hmm. I could see us not seeing Daenerys next episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
we'll see Marine, but not Daenerys.
I think if they're gonna exclude anything, I think Winterfell will be fine, because we've seen him every episode. I think they're gonna take Winterfell out just to focus on King's Landing. That's just me.
That works.
That's just me. So I want you to tell me, what did you think of this episode overall?
Overall, I would say this episode was great.
Great.
Because like the whole thing with the Bran storyline being the main focus of it was great.
Yes.
And it touched upon like all the it touched upon just enough other storylines to make us like, because it like went to Bran and then left Bran and then went to Bran and then left again and then went back.
Yeah.
What did it go to 3 times?
3 times. Yeah.
So it was good to like go off to other plots and then come back to Bran.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good to get a lot of Bran because this was the first episode I really got a lot of him.
Yeah.
He's just been teased, or not in the episode at all. Now, so that was good to finally have Bran back, despite how tragic it was.
And it was good to see him going, like, being who he's kind of been acting, like, wanting to just be in the past all the time.
Yeah.
And while the Three-Eyed Raven was quote-unquote sleeping, he went back in the past, and then that's when everything went wrong. Just as the Three-Eyed Raven predicted.
So you like this episode a lot?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love this episode. I'm not going to say where it is on the rank, the first 5, because we're going to get to that in a sec, actually. But I'm going to say overall, this episode, besides the Arya and Dany stuff, I think Arya was And I thought Daenerys was like good, but little bugs. Well, I feel like the Arya was the exact opposite. There were a lot of bugs and some good in it. You know what I mean? So those two, excuse you, Bob. Those two were, I guess, overall. But everything else was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought it was honestly fantastic. I thought the stuff in Marine was great. I thought the stuff in the Iron Islands was fantastic. I thought the stuff in the Wall was wonderful. And of course, with Bran was tragic, but genius and phenomenal.
Yeah.
So overall, I thought this episode was great. Awesome. This met the standard I hold to every Game of Thrones episode, and it went beyond too. Okay. Absolutely. Fantastic episode. So this would be the time where we usually predict what's going to happen in the next few episodes, but we kind of already did that with the plots we didn't see.
Yeah.
So I think instead what we're going to do is we're going to do like a little mid-season review. The season is halfway over.
Yes.
This is the halfway. I mean, it's hard to believe. Yes, season's halfway over.
Halfway.
It's halfway done. So we're going to do a little like mid-season review, if you will. Kind of like go over the first 5 episodes. Not necessarily what we thought of each individual episode, but what we think of the season as a whole so far. So I want you to start and tell me what you thought.
Okay.
The season thus far.
So this season it's, in my opinion, it's an improvement, definitely an improvement over season 5.
Okay.
It's definitely, like, the plotlines have increased more this season than they did in season 5 already.
Okay.
It's nice to see the reintroduction of Bran back again.
Oh, absolutely, I agree.
The Greyjoys back again.
Yep.
And like these like major sections of the plotline coming back
that have been left out for so long.
That have been left out for so long and being majorly prevalent is just it's propelling the show to be great.
It's great. Yeah.
That's my opinion on the
That's
first
your opinion on the first half of the season. Yes. My opinion on the first half of the season is very different than. All right, let's see how I can say it. So I'm just gonna go over the episode really quick. So I thought the first 2 episodes were extremely rocky.
Okay.
Especially the first one. Second one a little less. Actually, the second one might even a little more rocky. I don't really remember, but I kind of look at the first 2 episodes as the same. I felt like the first episode was definitely much more rocky, but the second episode they were both extremely rocky, extremely rough around the edges. Not necessarily poor episodes, but they were average to below average episodes. I felt.
Okay.
And then after that, I cannot say the same of those 2. I mean, episode 3, 4, and 5, in my opinion, are all like phenomenal. I felt like the first 2 had to kind of like slow down or like, I guess, speed up to keep up with season 5. But I feel like the real start of the season happened in episode 3.
Okay.
Jon Snow came back in episode 2. You know what I mean? So
and he went to work in episode 3.
Episode 3 really started everything off, I feel. And I feel like episode 3 was very, very good. Episode 4 was even better. And this episode was even better than episode 4.
Okay.
This is just, I mean, I know I said last week, there's no way next week's episode is going to be better than this week. And God, I was so wrong. I was so wrong.
Goddamn door.
I could not have been more wrong. This episode was way better. Not way better. It was better.
Yeah.
Just from that Bran scene alone made up for it.
Not to say that the other one was bad. This one was just like...
No, I mean, they all met the standard. This one went beyond. And so did... I'd say episode 3 met the standard, went a little beyond. Episode 4 met the standard, went beyond. And episode 5 met the standard and went very, 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 very,
very beyond.
Very beyond of what I expect. The whole Hodor thing was great.
To infinity and beyond.
And I am loving this season. Sort of.
Sort of.
Each episode, I think the only episode 4 is the only episode because Arya Stark wasn't in there. And I know I keep dissing my girl Arya, but I gotta.
Yeah.
She was the only. She wasn't in that episode. So that episode 4, last episode we reviewed, was every single plot I liked.
Okay.
There was some elements of each plot that I didn't super enjoy, but each plot overall I liked. I can't say the same about this episode. Arya Stark I didn't really like that much. I forgave it a little bit. Daenerys I did like, but it had some spots in it.
Yeah.
But I do think this episode was better simply because of the Bran Stark just made up for everything. But I mean overall this season so far is just halfway over. And if we do have to compare it with season 5, the first half of season 5, yes.
Yeah.
This is better than the first half of season 5, absolutely. I wouldn't say the second half, but I mean,
we're also not at the second half.
We're not at the second half, so you can't really compare the first to the second. The first half, yes, I will agree. It was better than season 5. Not by much. They're pretty close, I feel. Yeah, but overall, I would say it's much more exciting than episode 5. I do feel like a lot of the season so far has suffered from. There's been some writing issues. I see some of the storytelling issues have been whatever, and that's just because it's more of a TV show than an adaptation of a book series. It's more of its own thing, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a curse. Some people will hate it, but we're viewing this as a TV show, not as a book.
Yep.
So, as a TV show, this is a very, very good TV show.
Yes.
And I was very excited once episode 3 rolled around, and I'm very happy that these last 3 episodes have
continued the uptrend.
Made up for the last 2.
Yeah.
And the uptrend has, and if they can somehow continue this uptrend until the last episode, this will be, I don't think it's going to be one of the strong. I think it would be stronger than season 5.
Yeah.
And maybe season 1.
But that is to be seen in the next 5 weeks.
That is to be seen. Overall, this first season I think is strong. Not very strong because the first 2 were rocky, but the last 3 definitely made up for a lot. If all right, I know I'm rambling a lot, but let me just finish off with this. Yeah. If the last 3 episodes were as same quality as the first 2, I would say this would be a weak first mid-season, first half of the season. But because of a lot of what I loved in the last 3 episodes, this is definitely made up for a lot of the rockiness of the first 2 episodes. So overall, I think it's not very strong, but strong. Mm-hmm. So yeah, do you have anything else to add? Anything else you want to say?
Well, I just like how a lot of these things remain to be rather unpredictable.
Yes.
Like they're less unpredictable than they were before the season started, but
yeah, I think the only I'm gonna disagree slightly. Maybe we're talking about different things, but I feel like the only thing this season that I did not predict was that Hodor thing.
Okay.
Like, not even his name, just the whole Hodor dying, all of that I did not predict.
Yeah.
That caught me off guard. Sansa going to the Riverlands, I knew was coming. The Greyjoys, I knew what was happening. Like, everything else, I pretty much predicted everything. The only thing I didn't really... The 2 things, actually, I only didn't predict was Hodor and the Red Woman.
Yeah.
Revealing her true identity.
Okay. Well, because I personally, I cannot tell where they're going to go now.
I can, sort of.
Well, like, we have ideas of where they're going to go, but, like, we don't know
not to sound like a dick, but I pretty much predicted this whole season except for the Hodor and Red Woman thing. Like, I know Sansa's going to split up with Jon and go to the Riverlands. I mean, maybe I don't know that, but everything that's happened so far, I pretty much, like, predicted. Maybe not, like... I mean, like pretty much. Like, overall, like, I mean... I don't think, like... I'm trying to explain myself here. I'm trying to talk.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't predict like 3 episodes ahead, but I feel like I've always, like, after an episode ends, I've kind of always predicted the next episode.
Okay.
Rather.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, like, long term, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Sure, I don't think any of us do.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely long term things I see happening, and I see where it's going. But we will see. We've made predictions in the last few episodes. We didn't do any major ones this episode, but we've done a lot. You know, we talked about...
I think it was like last episode we
talked about Cersei, Cersei and the Mad Queen, and Arya. I remember, I don't know if that was the last 2 episodes ago, I don't remember. We talked about Cersei and the Mad Queen and Arya Stark killing Jon Snow. I think it was... That was 2 episodes ago. It's not. That was 2 episodes ago. We did talk about...
Because I was sick last week.
Yeah. We did talk about that for a little bit. And those I think those are very long term. And there are some long term. I see Jamie and Brienne meeting up. I'm thinking that's going to happen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
those are like not like major storyline
I know.
predictions.
Like major deaths.
Those are just like
major deaths.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
But I can see where the show's going in many directions.
Okay.
And while watching the show, it's a little predictable.
You can tell the general direction that things are heading, not like exactly what's going to happen.
During the episode, I'm like, this is what's going to happen, and it happens.
Yeah.
That's predictable to me. That's what predictable is. The Hodor thing, I did not see fucking coming in. Even like 3 seconds before it happened. Until she literally said, "Hey, hold the door," and I'm like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
But yeah, so mostly pretty much positive things to say all around.
Yeah.
Besides the first 2 episodes, I think the season's doing very well so far. I am a little disappointed that it's already halfway over, which is a little like, oh, man. I wish that this would go a little slower, because once this is over, we're gonna have to wait a whole year.
Yeah.
But let's not. You know what, Bob? You know what? Let's just pretend that doesn't exist. Let's pretend there's gonna be an episode every week.
Yep.
Reality's not real, and
you didn't have to suffer through it as much as I did, because you watched through the whole series in between the end of season 5 and the start of season 6. I've had to wait from the end of season 3 to the start of season 4, 4 to 5.
Bob, just ignore Bob. Bob's not saying anything right now. Nope.
So,
all right. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
It's still a struggle for me, Bob. All right, it's a struggle.
You haven't experienced the whole
No, it doesn't mean it's not a struggle now. Just because you got shot in the leg 3 times last year doesn't mean I get shot in the leg now. It doesn't hurt as much. It hurts, but we're not even over. We should be enjoying.
We still have 5 weeks.
We still have half of the cake left. So let's enjoy this.
Yes.
It looks pretty good. So that was, goddamn, that was an episode review of Westeros After Hours, season 6, episode 5, titled. Say it, Bob.
The door.
The door. Who's at the door? It's not. It's not Hodor.
It's not Hodor.
It's not Hodor.
And on that side note, we will see you. In a week.
We will see you next week for the episode review. I know the title of the episode, but I'm not going to say it.
Good.
Because
I don't want to.
Because actually the name of it will give away.
It usually does.
It gives away who's in the episode. Well, the door didn't really, but no, this episode will give away who is in the next. There is a character in the next episode. I don't want to say who it is.
Okay.
But maybe I might. I'm not going to say it.
I don't really care if you do.
Daenerys is in it. That's all I'm going to say. Bye, everybody.